fucking cereal.
Blog Talk Radio.
Warning. Warning.
Welcome to the 2-minute warning. Where sports fans sound off.
I'm trying to blow your mind. I'm talking literally blow your mind. I'm trying to blow your mind. I'm talking literally blow your mind.
Yo, what's up, people? With the
No.
rules.
No.
Oh, boy.
Omar, you want to take over here?
Carl, come back to us, Carl. Please, come back from the dead. Well, we're here while Carl hammers out the storm issues, I guess, that are passing through his way that just passed through mine, which made me scared that I was going to lose the board. We're here with the 40th episode of the Pride Rules podcast. We turned 40. This is 40. We need Judd Apatow, I think, to write the rest of the show. However, we're here. We're making it happen, and we are super excited to be having Eddie Truck Gordon on as our guest of honor. It's fitting that we hit a nice round number like 40 when he was number 3, the first guest we ever had. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm nostalgic, and it hasn't even been a year. As usual, I'm joined by our esteemed co-hosting panel. We'll get Carl back on, but we also have Tommy. How you doing, Tommy?
What's up, everybody?
Hey,
You're
there
on
he is.
deck.
And how you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. I'm having trouble with this whole
Bowl of cereal?
No, that went down just fine. But I'm having trouble with doing the write-up on myself, man. I don't know about you guys, but
No, mine's
it's tough,
done.
isn't it? Oh, well, here we go. Oh, he's already got it. He's already got it done. Well, without any further ado, we're brought to you as always by 80K Fightwear, Madama Jiu-Jitsu, Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu, newly victorious Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu, as well as the 2-minute warning group. You can find us everywhere on social media. We're doing our jobs. And you can find us everywhere that you can find a podcast. If you're listening to this right now, I'm pretty positive you have a good grasp on where we're available. So, guys, UFC 214. Holy smokes. Who wants to take it away? Let's start with Mr. Serial. Chris,
all right.
what do you got?
Well,
Captain Chris.
the whole DC thing was Rogan fucked up, and I feel bad for DC, but that face, man, that face. That was
let's not get too in depth into that because Eddie's been really vocal about that on social media today. So if we can,
Worried about.
Fair
hold
enough.
off on.
Fair
I'm
enough.
gonna
Then
tell
let's
Eddie
do
Gordon.
the whole Woodley-Maya debacle, which I'm sure me and
There you
Tommy
go.
will agree on some, but butt heads on most of this.
Well, it was.
Did anybody listen to the MMA Hour today?
No.
Well, Woodley had a
course.
fucking torn labrum in the first round, so he couldn't throw punches with his power hand.
Well, they set a record for least punches thrown or landed in a fucking fight.
Yeah, but I agree
And
with
by,
that. I
like,
understand
double.
that. That's understandable, but why do you blame Woodley so much for that? I'm the first one to denounce
I don't.
anything.
I blame
Carl
Maya for it,
said.
actually.
Maya fought like a fucking bitch, if you ask me. I love Maya, but dude, you got to be so much less one-dimensional. He attempted 23 takedowns. The first 20 didn't let you know that you weren't going to take the dude down. You got to at some point you got to try something different. That's all.
He's a one-trick pony. He's the most boring fighter. And I'll tell you right now, Tyron Woodley got saved by that torn labrum because Dana White said afterwards, he's like, do you think anyone wants to watch Tyron Woodley fight ever again? He was about to get cut as far as Dana White was concerned.
What are you talking about, cut? He's a champion, dude. He's got 9 first-round
Obviously, he wasn't going to get cut, you fuck. I'm just saying, he was close to it with Dana White's reaction.
Yeah, but what looks bad is this is 3 fights in a row where it's been extremely lackluster, kind of on
Where is
both sides
Nick
of the fence.
Diaz when you need him?
Oh, boy.
True.
It's
Not
true.
passing drug tests.
You're telling me that, like, all right, what fight are you excited to see Woodley fight right now? Do you really want to see him and GSP wrestle?
No.
They're not going to
fight. Or, like, have
dude.
too much respect for each other so they, like, don't wrestle and
They're not fighting. They're not fighting.
I know, but that's my point. That's the money
you know
fight.
What I mean?
Like, what is the
He's
fight
saying,
that
what
you want
fight do you want to see
right now?
I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Honestly, that's it, because he's the only one.
Masvidal wasn't up to speed. Is the same like your boy Frankie. He wasn't up to fucking snub when he had his chance to get that fight. He lost.
Always with those digs, right, Tommy? Always with those digs, the son of a bitch.
He dig all he wants. The guy that he's talking about that should be fighting Woodley can't pass a fucking drug test.
Yeah,
was just smoking weed outside of fucking Rivoli's.
Saturday night. Like, honestly, Tommy, say what you want about it. Tell me he's not right, though.
Actually can pass a drug test.
Of course he's right.
Not right. Yeah.
Of course he's right. But what are you going to do? The guy does what the fuck he wants to do, and he doesn't want to adhere by any of the rules.
Yeah, I'm not saying, like, he should be fighting Nick Diaz. He should be getting that fight. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, the only fight that interests anybody, me at least, for Woodley right now would be Masvidal or Nick Diaz, because they're going to bring the fight out in you regardless, you know. But like, you got to look at the matchups, man. Like, who's looked good against Wonder Boy? Who's looked good against Maya? Name one. You know, who's been able to?
Woodley, the only one. No, you're right. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that you're wrong.
Woodley didn't look good
at
against
all.
either of them.
Dude, Woodley stuffed 23 Damian Maya takedowns.
Yeah,
that's fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't understand how hard that is. Guys
how
that
many
have wrestled
punches?
their whole lives,
how about this? How about this? He threw fucking 40 punches. So stop it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you don't understand.
That's UFC 1 level.
Stuffing 23
takedowns. He landed 40. Threw more. He didn't throw
I don't think so. Dude.
Listen to me. Stuffing 23 takedowns, that whole shit about his conditioning is completely thrown out the window. Chris, you wrestled. Omar, you wrestled.
Yeah.
You know how much energy that takes to continuously stuff a takedown and be able to keep going on with that.
Honestly, Tommy,
and my lack of wrestling prowess,
I don't think.
I'll fuck you up, bro.
Tommy, I don't think that the takedowns that Maya was coming with.
You were talking about my credentials earlier last week, so I don't want to hear it, Carl.
Maya was as little as Woodley landed. Maya wasn't even taking him down, attempting to take him down. You know, to take him down. He was just doing it to avoid getting hit at those moments because they were not set up. There was no feint. He was setting it up with a left straight. Not
he was
even
shooting
a jab
from
left
far away too, Chris.
He was setting it up with
from
a
across
left
the
straight,
stage.
a straight left punch.
Yeah, it was weird.
Without even it wasn't even a jab straight left. It was just straight left shot. Both knees immediately. He was getting shucked off with no problem. So I
it looked
agree.
like a warm up from like the beginning of a grappling class, right? Like, hey guys, we're gonna warm up
like
with takedowns.
An open mat.
Only it looked like a white belt class, and it was Damian Maya, which was like sad to see.
That's insane to see. It really is.
So,
I think
so
Damian.
While I say like it's amazing to stuff 23 Maya takedowns, they weren't really Maya-esque takedowns.
All right. What time we got Eddie Gordon calling in?
9:30.
9:30. All right. Well, then I don't care anymore about Tyron Woodley's boring ass or Damian Maya's fucking boring ass. John Jones.
Yeah, well,
Daniel Cormier.
kind of important. It's kind of important to be talking about that because
Daniel. we didn't even talk about the main event. We didn't talk about the main event.
Getting flamed for doing just what you just did by you guys on air. Like
we got to talk about the main event. Listen,
we are going to talk about the main event when Eddie comes on because Eddie's been very vocal about what happened with that main event.
What Eddie's been vocal about was people making a meme about Daniel Cormier crying afterwards. Let's talk about the actual fight. John Jones just beat the number 3 pound-for-pound guy and was basically the number 3 pound-for-pound guy before he went on suspension. Where does John Jones obviously is number 3, right? Does Daniel Cormier fall out of the top 5?
No, John Jones is number 1.
He's not number 1. Demetrius Johnson is number 1.
That's crazy talk. He's 120 pounds, dude.
I don't care. That's what the pound-for-pound list is for.
He'll take a full-on tackle from Demetrius Johnson. My man will stand there.
Demetrius Johnson up, more likely than not.
All right, so John Jones is number 1 in Chris's eyes. He's better than Conor, and he's better than Demetrius Johnson.
Well, I mean, he's never lost. He's never lost.
I'm going to explain why I think that, too. I have valid reason. It's not just like
Well,
unwarranted.
Dude, honestly, I was asked
I
this
think
last
John Jones'
night.
skill set makes him number one, basically. I had him on my list in pound for pound list.
What are you saying?
Right now he's number one. Right now he's number one, and I don't care what those rank.
If you're nut hugging Conor to the point where you're going to put him ahead of John Jones, it's not fair. That's not right. It's unwarranted. He lost to a guy that's in his weight class recently.
John Jones has never lost.
I'm not putting him ahead of Demetrius Johnson, though. What did Demetrius Johnson do wrong? He's fucking.
Demetrius Johnson in his prime lost to fucking a guy one weight class up as well, like Dominic Cruz. But that's the whole point. Is what I'm saying. That's why I put Conor ahead of him, because he dominated. He has the belt in 2 weight classes, or had. You know what I mean? Like, so I'll put Conor ahead of Demetrius Johnson. But Demetrius Johnson, to me, just because there's a lack of competition.
Too much today, Omar.
It's just a stretch, man. I'm just sitting back going, I think I was thinking about this in the car the other day. I'm going, is it so much that Demetrius is really, really just that much better than his competition? So there's nobody like a DC to bring out the animal in DJ. I think that there was a lot of
Dillashaw comes down and then he bitches out.
Well, exactly, and I think that fight might be down the road, but let him get his piece of history first. There's not too many milestones or brass rings in DJ's eyes in his weight class at this point in his career. Let him get history.
Right,
let him do what he wants to do there, and then he can start going on the Magic Mystery Bus tour and fighting everybody. And I'd love to see it. Hell, I'd like to see him fight Cyborg, for God's sakes. Like, I think
for that reason, I wish he would have taken a Dillashaw fight, because there isn't that signature win. He beat Benavidez 3 times. Like, he's fought all these guys a couple times each.
Did you say you wanted him to fight Cyborg?
1,000%. I think that would put. I mean, the weight difference alone. I think Cyborg still comes in heavier on fight night. If we see I'm telling you. Tanya Evinger.
She would whip out her dick and beat his ass.
I think, or wrap it around her waist like a belt, like Goku. I'm thinking we could see something like back in the day.
You know what? Honestly, they should just let DJ get this, break this record, because if John Jones stays on the course, if he stays on the course,
he's
on right now, he can break that record
easily.
He'll break that record in the light heavyweight division.
I don't care about Demetrius Johnson either. What's DC? What happens with Daniel Cormier now? Like, what does he got to do?
Moves up.
He's got to move up, and then John Jones moves up, and then Daniel Cormier moves back down.
They do the Kansas City shuffle at that weight class, like one goes one way, one goes.
John Jones is going to stay at light heavyweight.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he goes. He stops skipping leg day, and then he moves up.
Let's just talk about how big John Jones looked compared to Cormier.
His upper body.
Just
fucking. Well, that is his nutritionist, Lou Giordano.
Bro,
he grabbed Lou when Johnny Hendricks actually made weight for the first time at
Johnny
170.
Hendricks does not have a nutritionist. Stop lying.
He did. He did one time he made weight.
Shut the fuck up about Johnny Hendricks. No one cares.
It was magic though. The weight guy was the only person who was able to reel Big Fat Rig back into Big Rig status and get him off the steak and shake diet that he was on.
John Jones grabbed Lou, and he's been with Lou since then. And you saw how awesome he looked. He was ripped. He was cut up. He looked like he came in.
Right? I want John Jones at heavyweight so bad, because I want to see what he can do up there. Like, I think
it might happen.
I think that he's the current champ right now.
I
would want to see one fight.
You're talking about he's the number one pound for pound fighter in the UFC. He's going to win the title no matter where he goes then.
But I'd want to see one fight to see the how the weight happens, how he adjusts to moving people. Yeah, and like I said in one of the forums here, I was like, yo, Jones will kill Brock Lesnar, I feel. I don't know how about you. Yeah, right?
That is not a good match at all. Brock don't want that sauce. He does not.
That's 100% correct. Exactly. He'll get beat
he'll
up.
talk a big game, but he'll get out wrestled. He'll get out everything.
They'll both get paid.
But the money they would both
happy.
make, the money they would both make would be unbelievable.
John Jones is at a point in his career, I think, where he's polarizing enough where he's going to make money in all of his fights going forward. I think that John Jones will be the draw if he just sticks to the court. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need Brock.
But it's a
really
supernova of a draw.
Do UFC needs Brock?
That's a huge fight. Even
Connor's,
Dana's not stupid. Dana's not closing the book on that.
UFC's got mortgages, all right? They've got mortgages on top of mortgages to pay for this $4 billion.
I will not support. I mean, I'll watch, but I will not actually get behind and be excited about that fight.
You'll legally watch it though, Chris, right? Let's not get Dana and his.
Yeah, we'll order it.
Right?
We'll order it.
I'll watch.
Pay-per-view.
I will watch the fight.
I said I'll watch. I will neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, but
I'll tell you this much though.
We all know
the payouts.
You don't need to waste one split second of time analyzing that matchup because it's a guarantee. It's like
right, but they need money. I mean, this you know what? I can't really complain because I saw the payouts for this past event.
Daniel Cormier made $1 million.
Yeah, these guys didn't do too bad, and they're looking at about 1.1 million pay-per-view buys.
Which is nice for the year. That's a shot in the arm after the ratings, right?
3 title fights. This card was stacked.
It was.
Yeah, it was a good card.
Yeah, but they're talking about John Jones and Brock at the Garden, so that'll be a stacked card too.
For sure.
It will be, but the amount of money that they'll
get Iaquinta on that card.
Hell yeah.
Brock Lesnar generates money no matter what. You know what I mean? Brock generates money no matter what.
Does anybody think Brock looks like he belongs in the UFC still? Like, he looks like an old man.
He's at least 6 months away from USADA, ever fighting through USADA with that whole mess. So this is not anytime soon. This is
I want a scientist. I want him to not grab a nutritionist. I want him to grab a scientist.
I think Brock got a 6-month thing. That was it. I think that's up.
No, Dana said it yesterday in that post-fight interview.
Wait, he has an exemption?
No, he's got 6 months through USADA before he can even fight.
Oh, okay. He's back in the pool.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
Yes.
But what else was I going to say?
He's a white shark back in the pool.
Yeah, Brock to make this an exciting fight? Who has Brock beaten? Heath Herring, a 50-year-old couture.
Why we're talking about these things today?
Carwin. I still love that fight.
Carwin,
Mr. Punch Me $5.
I think Carwin beat Brock, and they didn't stop it because they didn't want it to go down like that.
For sure.
I hear you.
Brock got Tyron Woodley. He did. Carwin got Woodley. He really did. He got jewed over by the.
But you know what? To get off this real quick and get back on the main event, Daniel Cormier was doing his thing as much as he could. Until he got caught with that kick.
And it wasn't good.
It doesn't matter. He did 100 times better than he did the first fight.
I was saying,
you know what I mean?
Cormier was doing well. He was doing better, but John Jones was outscoring him at almost every turn. It was like Cormier was pushing the action. He was forcing Jones to throw shots that he didn't maybe want to throw at the time, and they were uncomfortable, but he was landing a lot. And I had Cormier losing each round, and losing the round he got KO'd in by a little bit each round. So I had him down, and if he lost that round, which he was on his way to, he needed to knock him out to finish him in the 4th or 5th to win the fight. And I just didn't see. I seen, if anything, Cormier fading more than Jones. But that's the way I saw the fight. So I don't think it really would have mattered much if he didn't get KO'd. It just wouldn't have been a meme.
What I love is how if you go back and rewatch the fight, how well they broke down the Cormier puzzle over at Jackson Wink. I have to give my hats off to him because almost all of the strikes, everything that was thrown, was in order to facilitate that head kick being sold and having a bite on it. I was wondering, he's working the body. Is he trying to maybe hit the stamina card on him? Maybe trying to wear him out that way? But everything, each weird angle kick, everything to the body, everything below, he was trying to sell it in order to get that head kick, man. It was a thing of beauty. It was a really
I was upset we didn't get to see any of his jiu-jitsu, though. I wanted to see how his jiu-jitsu game has progressed.
That's what I was trying to allude to the other day when I said it might be a downfall if he tries to bring that out. You got to let that shit happen natural. Fight your fight the way you feel comfortable, and then you get put in a situation, use what you know to get into the better position to, utilize your skills again. And that's what I was alluding to the other day at the end of the show, or a couple weeks ago, where it's like, John Jones shouldn't change the way he fights because he's better at jiu-jitsu. He hasn't needed to use that yet, for the most part. He has choked out and cheated and shit like that, but for the most part, he hasn't really, taken somebody down and worked the ground. When he gets somebody down, he's ground and pounding. But if somebody could get him down and he's on his back, then, yeah, utilize it. But I don't see John Jones really being like a submission specialist at any point in his career.
I just want to see what he could pull off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just want to see what he could pull off.
All right. Well,
Carl,
Pride Rules podcast was 2-0 Saturday, obviously, because Aljamain Sterling beat Renan Barão via decision. Good fight. I'm happy with it. Rounding out that card, Cyborg defeated Evinger to win the belt. I think she would have done the same to Duranemy, whatever. And,
how tough is Evinger, though? Right?
Yeah, she's a bad bitch. Yeah,
Good
absolutely.
Yo, those dudes fucking went at it.
But, Jesse gets mad at me for saying this, but I don't care. Did Evinger not have the body of a woman that just had a baby like 3 weeks ago?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, absolutely did. I want Justine Kish to fucking...
And I'm so wrong for saying that because it's not like I'm the most in shape individual, but she just doesn't have the look of a professional fighter. But I mean, she held her own. I don't know if Cyborg was going
she
full
had the
bore.
balls. All right, nobody else wanted to face this lady. Okay.
No.
Right.
Well, one other person did, but for some reason they couldn't get their customs. I don't know.
She was trying to smuggle koalas in her carry-on. All right, I think that's the latest. I got the.
Go ahead, Omar. I was going to let you finish.
No, I'm done.
I need to get more up on the women's MMA because I don't care about it. But
Why don't you see Ryan Bader an entire?
I'm glad, right?
Gender.
He's Ryan Badering the entire women's fucking race.
I swear to God.
Gender.
race.
Yo.
Dude, there's one person at 145. That's it. There's one person. It's just Cyborg. That's it.
Yeah, and I actually think that's like a fact. That there's only 145-pounder
that's it. There's one person. That's it.
No, even in the jiu-jitsu world, it's everybody around that weight, and then it jumps up to 200-plus pounds with Gabby Garcia. And Gabby would have to cut off a leg to make 145. And they train together. So there's literally nothing to
cut
do.
her dick off.
She would absolutely.
A leg or a penis.
One of the three, one of her 3 legs, whatever you want to call it. But she'd have to cut something off in order to get on the scale and not have to pull a
Robbie Lawler did beat Donald Cerrone also.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he's not even close.
Get out of here.
What the fuck fight
no
were
way. Are you giving Robbie Lawler a 10-8 then in the first round? It's the only way. And then it's a draw.
No, I'm saying that he fucking lost the second round. That's it.
You okay there?
No.
Yo, try playing quarterback freshman year when you're going through puberty and calling the kids.
Yo, Carl, did you
having your voice crack.
Talk about not want to talk about things, and you're talking about.
Here he comes. Now he's talking all deep to make up for it.
I
feel like I just paid $3.99 to talk to Chris.
Agreement with that, with the fact that they don't think Lawler won. I think it was pretty clear.
Not at
So
all.
No
way. Yo.
No.
There's not. Not even.
Cerrone got screwed.
Speaking of jiu-jitsu, though,
it was a draw. At worst, if you give Robbie Lawler a 10-8, and then 2 other rounds. Well, is there a 4th round that I didn't see happen? Potentially, I walked away when the decision was happened.
Legit. I really want to segue into this thing because I want to talk about it before Eddie calls in, and that's my place because I wanted to talk about this. Obviously, Mike Wacker defeated Diego Sanchez in the submissions only that we had on last week. Mike Wacker, obviously, is your coach, and is he an owner or is he just a coach at the Black Hole?
Oh, he's a coach, owner, founder. He's the man there.
I figured he was the whole nine, the wizard. I saw you with your wizard shirt on. He defeated Diego Sanchez in. Honestly, I got to be honest with you guys. I never really paid attention to these submission only events, and it was a little
because
different.
The casual fan in you is coming out.
Oh
No,
wow.
I just think grappling is boring. I want to see punches. Like I respect it, but I want to see punches mixed in. I need to see strikes for it to.
How about
to
combat
do anything for
jiu-jitsu?
me.
What are your thoughts on slaps?
He doesn't have thoughts on it.
That I would like. I would like that. That strikes to me. But no, I have a couple things. Like, all right, they have a decision when neither guy basically did much, like in terms of offense. Like I get what Wacker was doing. He held position more than Sanchez, who was trying to be offensive, but he kind of like pulled guard from the jump and really stayed there and just basically thwarted off all his offensive attacks and then won a decision.
He was pulling off Williams' guard at every turn. That's
right.
He was putting off London position, and he was trying to armbar him the entire time.
Is that enough though to like win?
Absolutely.
Like I just
don't
Carl,
think you're not going to learn how they score jiu-jitsu in a
absolutely
it's not that. No, it's not that. I don't think it was long enough.
I want a Naga with a really good, decent triangle attempt. They threw me a point. Other than that, it was a back and forth battle, and I was getting beat up. I'm not gonna lie. In my
such an ongoing fucking debate.
Yeah.
Chris,
but you get jiu-jitsu, you get points in certain formats for attempts at actually submitting.
I'm just saying, from a naked eye, though, I thought Diego was more the aggressor. I think Mike controlled the positioning more, but Diego was more the aggressor. And in the post-fight interview, how funny was it when Diego was like, "Oh, I figured I'd get hometowned by the ref and they'd give me the win." You guys were all like, hometown, he's from New York. And then the announcer came back on and said it actually after the fact. He was like, dude, he's from New York. He's not from fucking Canada. What are you talking about? And I thought that was actually pretty funny.
I was nervous that they weren't going to see, that they were going to give the naked eye breakdown and they weren't going to see the submission attempts. The scrambles, I think, all favored my coach there. You had a dude try can openers. When you're in somebody's guard and your go-to bread and butter is the can opener, on a black belt and in a grappling championship there. If it's striking, like I could see what I took away from it was that I could see where years of jiu-jitsu for MMA has really conditioned Diego to look for certain positions and wait and see.
Yeah, because it's a huge difference.
This is going to like the whole Henry Gracie thing, man, where he was like, these fucking people, there's guys that are training jiu-jitsu now. They're training jiu-jitsu and they're going out there thinking that they could win a fight from it, but they're training sport jiu-jitsu. It's completely different. Like,
and vice versa. Right, Chris? Like vice versa. You have guys training for like a jiu-jitsu for a fight. And then when it's time to be playing against a really high-level jiu-jitsu guy, you're going to get wrapped up the way he did. His arm was in constant trouble. His neck was in constant trouble. He was fending off positions, and Mike was attacking. I mean, I'm not a black belt. I'm not a Diego, level of grappling. But let me tell you, when Mike Wacker's putting you in London, it's not a fun time. It's not at all, because you either have to give up an omoplata, you have to give up a straight down bar, or a choke of some sort.
What it is it's complete differences with, like you were saying, MMA jiu-jitsu, where if you're in somebody's guard, you're striking to pass and you're passing to strike. In a straight jiu-jitsu tournament, somebody's guard is the most dangerous fucking place to be if you got a guy who's really good on their back, because you're just not going to pass the guard that easy. You can't just stand up because now your legs are exposed.
Yeah, you can't deliver like 4 rib shots just to fucking, make him adjust to that. You know what I mean? Like, when you can throw strikes, it makes it a whole new thing.
And Mike said it last week. Mike said it absolutely last week. He said, listen, if this was an MMA match, it'd be a different story. But Diego wanted to do a grappling, submission-only situation. That's going to favor Mike. That's all Mike does.
Hell yeah.
And what did he do? His game plan was get under him, control him, attack from the bottom, and then keep it moving.
He sat down as soon as they started. As soon as the match started, he sat down.
Nobody's going to, because that's where he feels, if you look at his submission game, it's sitting, getting under, and submitting the shit out of him. Now, Diego did enough of I think, of a preparation to not make the mistake of trying to stand to pass. Because let me tell you this, anybody that tries to do that with it's either we're going to get up and shoulder pressure, or we're going to get under you and heel hook you. That's what we do. So I think Diego saw that and he's like, wait a second, but then he reverted to sweet can opener justice. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I expected he's black belt.
This is somewhat off topic a little bit, but in line with like what you were saying before about like giving credit to Jackson Wink for how good John Jones the game plan. Like, that was the same coaches that were helping Diego game plan for Mike Wacker.
Right.
Yep.
It's just like small world type deal.
Diego's
entire career, he's been the hardest to submit. That's been Diego's whole career. So for Mike to get the win, that's awesome.
I think we have a caller on the line.
Is it Mr.
Eddie?
Gordon?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Eddie Gordon.
Welcome back, sir.
What's going on, fella? I was just eavesdropping, listening to everything 5.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
How you been, man?
I've been good, man. Can't complain at all.
So what's
just for the listeners, it's Eddie Truck Gordon. Obviously, we had him on. Wow, way back when now. It's been a couple months ago actually when you were on last, and since then you were on the Ultimate Fighter Redemption season again. Looks like you had a great time, dude. Like honestly, when you had the phone back towards the end of the season and you were like, you guys were out to dinner with Dana and everything, like it looked like you were living it up, dude. You guys seem to have a good time this go around.
Yeah, man, it was completely different, this time around, knowing the producers, knowing the fighters, everybody being, seasoned veterans. It was just a completely different atmosphere. It wasn't about, TV time. It was just about, bettering yourself, learning. It was unexplainable, man.
Right. Hey, it's an experience for you, man. Definitely good, and to get that under your belt with those fights. Now, anything happening in the UFC? Like, are you actually signed to any fights, or have you are still in discussions?
Right now, I'm in limbo right now, man. I was just having some discussions with a couple of different promotions, but in the same aspect, I'm just bettering myself, mentally, physically, fixing some holes in my game. I actually just finished a grappling, super fight, so I'm just using this time right now to just become a better all-around fighter, because I just got a wealth of knowledge, from that season, and literally I'm in a great place right now. And honestly, there's no better time to be a free agent than now. The mixed martial arts, the landscape has completely changed, and I love it.
Right, you got other promotions like even Bellator on the come up now. Like there's competition with the UFC. You don't only have to get into the UFC now. You can go another route and make good money, especially through your sponsors and everything. Dude, you look amazing now. Ever since you lost the weight to get into the house, it's pretty incredible, the transformation that you made. And I see you doing like a lot of one-on-one sessions now as well. So that's good. You're spreading the love and trying to help people basically have the same body transformation as you.
What's tell you what, man, like it's man, the weight loss coffee has a big say in it, and it definitely helped me a lot. I'm into health and fitness. Me being the transformation I got, I was over 300 pounds. The way I feel about myself in all aspects of life, I just want to share that knowledge. And a lot of times we think it's a lot harder than it really is. Honestly, it's literally 1 meal at a day, 1 meal at a time, 1 day at a time. And if you could just get that mindset, and if you just flip that switch and know that, hey, I'm serious about this, it can transform your life. I feel like I literally added 15 to 20 years onto my life that I'm gonna be able to spend with my kids, spend with my fiance, and just literally be a better person. And you feel good about yourself. So mixed martial arts not only changed my financial background, but it also literally changed my life.
Right. I'm only saying all this stuff because we track you on social media. Instagram, Twitter, what's that? Truck_MMA UFC? What's the actual handle so you can get it out there?
It's Truck MMA_UFC. I got that for my Instagram, my Twitter, my Snapchat, so make it easy on people. And I'm very active on social media, man. It's a gift and a curse. You look at this past weekend, man, oh, my gosh, we got to talk about it because, it hit home because these fans, I don't want to call them fans. These people are brutal. I don't.
People who make fun of him for that, for making that face, don't really understand the the dedication and what goes into it. Because I saw your post on Instagram how people who make fun of this face don't understand the true warrior and what goes into that. So I know you want to discuss that. So if you want to get into that, how you feel about that, I understand that. But we're all in lockstep with Cormier. Like, we understand what he did, and no one here is going to make fun of someone like that for putting their heart and soul into it and then having that kind of reaction. It's going.
Yeah, I won't make the meme. But I knew it was coming. I said it as soon as it happened. I was like, "This poor guy, man. Like, there's no reason
no doubt about it.
Camera right now."
No, there's no doubt about it. He's gonna replace the Michael Jordan crying face. But
right.
that's why I took back my
That,
statement. I didn't say fans because real fans are not gonna act like that. Like, it's gonna be those fly by night guys that just kind of just fell in love with the marketing and kind of stumble upon it. But like the real fans, the real fighters. They know what goes into a training camp, and especially a title fight when you're in the top of the mountain. Like, people don't realize your life, your day-to-day job is not in front of millions of people. Everybody's not looking and watching. When you sneak out and go to the bathroom at your office job to go take a nap in the stalls, there's not cameras following you. When you mess up and you put the wrong numbers in the spreadsheet and your boss reams you, and that's happening behind closed doors. It's not happening in eyes of millions of people and being capsulized in life forever. So, like, I just think that we're losing a sense of humanity, man, when you're sitting there and instantly everybody's laughing, and, like, to me that's crazy. And the person that you would expect to be the biggest, the finger pointer, John Jones, that man handled it with class, handled it with grace, and you saw that he grew as a person and a fighter. So that was more uplifting than anything else.
Yeah.
I think that, like...
Well, Eddie, you know what it is, Eddie? And you're 150% right in what you're saying. Obviously we understand and we definitely agree with you, but the past 2 years, the way Daniel's been presenting this fight and pushing this fight, like kind of taking kind of low blows and kicking the guy when he was down, you had to know that this was coming. You know what I mean? Like, you had to have seen it coming a mile away. And honestly, if the tables were turned, it would be the same way if it was John Jones. The same thing would happen to John Jones. You know what I mean? Like, it's inevitable.
Stupid. They're just going for a laugh.
The internet is brutal
internet.
and ruthless. That's my point. So, like, the internet is just the internet. But as far as, like, Cormier shouldn't have been interviewed. He shouldn't have been on camera. You know what I mean? Like, Joe Rogan fucked up. He said it. He was like, yo, man, I feel terrible because I don't like interviewing guys after they got knocked out. And there was just no reason for him to be on camera at that point, in my opinion.
Hey, guys, we have a
guest with us.
Real quick, we have Steve from Cage Side Submission. Steve, you there?
I'm here, guys.
Hey, what's up, Steve? Anything for Truck? I mean, a wealth of knowledge in MMA.
I kind of already touched on this on the show last night. It's funny, I called in and this is what you guys were touching base on. But Tommy can attest. I went a little bit in on the fans last night. Like, listen, dude. I know you guys had already kind of touched on it, but like, dude, when John turns around and basically puts the man up on a pedestal, even after that, the performance and all that, and then the fans still turn around and go and taking jabs at him or whatever, regardless of how either one of the guys promoted the fight, the fans should kind of run with that. Like, listen, if John's going to sit there and basically let bygones be bygones and, basically tell Daniel, basically Daniel is a role model to him. Let it go. Like, okay, yeah, the guy's upset and crying in the cage. How many other times have we seen fighters cry in the cage and fans didn't go and turn around and make? I've cried
after losing a JV wrestling match, so I can't really talk.
I hear that. And listen, I'd rather see a guy sit there and cry than some guy sitting there laughing, saying, "Hey, you bought the pay-per-view." I'm laughing.
John was crying in the cage too.
Combine that with the fact that, like, they put so much added pressure on themselves with the talk. Like, when you talk like that, you talk like Conor, you're adding pressure, man. Like, that meant the world to him. He lost everything in that moment. You know what I mean? That's worth crying about, 100%.
Right. I mean, it kind of sucks because Daniel Cormier does deserve the recognition and notoriety that he has gotten. and fans just, and I agree with Chuck. You can't even really call him fans. You can't, because real fans know not to step on a guy like that. To wait till at least he licks his wounds and see how he responds to it before you even speak on it. But you turn around and you go and do that, and I can't call you fans. You're what's wrong with this generation with the society right now. It's just let's cheer this guy all the way up, but when he falls down, we've got to make sure we kick him so hard he never comes back. They did the same thing to Ronda. The same exact thing to Ronda.
Crazy. It's like they forget instantly what everybody's done for the sport.
And then you wonder why some of these athletes walk away when they do. They just don't feel like that. Yes, there are so many positive people in the sport, but the other half, sometimes it's more than half of it. The other side of it's more negative. It's like, why am I doing this? And if you really don't love it, you will walk away.
Yeah, no, you're spot on, man, and it's crazy. It's like the car accident. Everyone wants to see the car accident, but nobody wants to stop and help. It's wild, man.
Right.
How do you persevere? Like piggybacking off of what Steve just said. I mean, you face some ups and downs. You've had a couple of tough beats here and there. I mean, how do you pick yourself up when something like this happens?
It's a mentality, man. Like I think honestly, if you look at the best fighters in the world, the best athletes in the world, it's perspective on life. Like if it doesn't upset you, if you don't get pissed off, then it doesn't mean enough for you to continue to do it. But like when things are bad, like I've had the craziest swings, and my career has only been 6 years. Like from start to finish, it's been 6 years right now and running. And I went from winning the Ultimate Fighter Championship, winning regional promotions, to losing everything, getting knocked out on national TV in front of millions of people. But like I realized that, listen, am I pissed off about it? Am I upset? 100%. When I go home and I see my family and the true fans, the true supporters that reach out to you and say, hey, we're in your back, we're in your corner, and the lives that you can actually change based off the platform that we have, that's what makes it worth it. When somebody reached out to me and tell me, they were thinking about, committing suicide, they were dealing with drugs, and my foundation, my messages help them, overcome it and not go back and relapse, and that's the things that fans don't see because, not everybody sit there and publicize it, but those are the reasons, those are the times that I'm like, all right, what I'm doing is worth it, because you're not going to reach everybody, you're not going to touch everybody, but if you can, help change or save one person's life or somebody who came from the same circumstances you had in life and know that, hey, I'm not perfect, but, if this guy can do it, then I got a shot, and it's tangible. That's what makes it so real. And it's just, to me, that's what it's all about.
I think the biggest thing that gets lost in translation from this weekend, I think the one thing that gets lost in translation from this weekend was the comeback story of John Jones. How far he fell off and was fortunate enough to be able to dust himself off, get back on the horse, and recapture what he once lost. I mean, even to the point where Daniel Cormier, banked half of what John did, and we would have said that if someone would have told me that 2 years ago, I think we all would have probably been laughing.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason why the whole comeback story is lost a little bit is because of John Jones' comments leading up to it. Like, and then even after the fight where he's like, I'm not making no promises, I'm a wild motherfucker. But that's what's going to make John Jones a rich man, is playing that card. So I can't hate on it.
He's polarizing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's becoming, like I said before, he's not going to need Brock to make that kind of money because he's going to be the Brock soon.
Right.
If he just keeps on the path that he's on.
Eddie, quick, I know you touched on it, Tommy, real quick. I just wanted to get it out there real quick. Eddie, I know you have a charity, right, that about like addiction or whatever. Is there something that I saw that you posted on social media?
Sober House?
Yes, yeah, man. I got the Eddie Truck Gordon Foundation, and I started the foundation last year in August, and it was just to help underprivileged youth, and something hit home, man. Like in Long Island, New York, nobody wants to speak about it, but we have a horrible drug addiction that's sweeping the nation. I'm sure it's not just in Long Island, but people are overdosing, people are dying, and nobody wants to talk about it. I'm tired of seeing, people I went to high school with, friends, family members, battling with this. So I'm literally taking a stand. Like, I'm trying to raise awareness, and my ultimate goal is to end up opening 3 sober houses because, I don't care who you are. If you don't have the proper environment, it's an uphill battle. So that's like my goal. I started talking to different people, counselors, and we have a couple of different programs going on. I'm actually going to be doing our first, inaugural event, coming up this summer before the summer ends. So like I'm really focused on it, man, because too many people are afraid to address it, and I'm not afraid to say how I feel. And like I said, man, it's not going to matter how many fights I win, how many cars I drive, homes I own. It's going to be how many lives I can actually touch while I have the platform, while I have this, this ability to reach out to people. And I see a positive impact already on a couple of different people's lives. So that motivates me.
And, Eddie, I love that you're doing this, Eddie. I'm not afraid to admit this. I am a former addict. I've overdosed twice. And I didn't have anybody to help me. I had to do it myself. I didn't go to meetings and things like that. I didn't have an organization like you have. So I think it's absolutely wonderful that someone of your stature is able to go out there and do what you're doing. And honestly, if you ever needed any help, if you needed me to come and talk to anybody, I'm at your disposal. I'm 100% at your disposal.
I appreciate it, man. I generally appreciate it, man. And you're the true hero, man. Like, people don't understand, and some people are ashamed and this and that, but there's nothing to be ashamed about. Like, we all have our struggles, our ups and downs, and it takes a strong person like yourself, to rise above that. So that's what's up, man. Much love.
Yeah. You know what it was, Eddie? It was, I'm one of these people, and I know that I'll catch a hell of a lot of flack for this, but I don't believe it's a disease. It's a choice. Because one day I just stopped, and that's it. And people could do that. You just need the right people around you.
There's factors here, Tommy, that I don't think that you're factoring in. Like, your situation might be a lot different than a lot of people.
No, you're right. You're right.
I mean,
you're right, but
I understand. There's two trains of thought with that. He's right, Tommy, and like when you get
opening
these
up
programs,
a can of worms, it's not worth opening here, I think.
Right. It's
but somebody like Eddie, who's opening something like this, it's great because meetings are one thing, but like a sober house, that's a completely different story. You know what I mean?
It lets you assimilate back into like life. Like gives you like almost like a halfway house, like a stepping stone to get back into like.
100%. I did a lot of research, man. A lot of these sober houses, they're in bad areas, so you got to walk through. You already have an addiction. Now you got to walk through a battlefield. Every day somebody's offering you this, offering you that, and it's like, how many times are you going to say no before you fall into that trap? So I want to set these things up into better environments, more positive people, so it's not as easy to fall. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be able to help and save everybody, and it's sad, but like if I could help. 2 out of 10 people. We try to keep raising average and just raise the awareness because people are afraid to talk about it. Like, people are genuinely afraid to talk about it as if it's like it's like taboo.
Yeah,
well, they're embarrassed, like people are embarrassed.
6% of males with addiction problems beat it. 6. So like the numbers are
so low. It's way too low.
Pride kills a lot of people in some sense and like that. And the funny thing is I'm going to touch on 2 points that you got. Eddie is absolutely right. The big thing about recovery houses, sober houses, stuff like that is the areas we're in. Where I live in Philadelphia, they just turned down a recovery house that was going to help people because we're, I guess what you call like the greater northeast in Philadelphia, so that's the furthest away, literally the furthest northeast point you could get away from the city. And for whatever reason, they didn't want it. And I can tell you this much right now: out of all the people that I used to hang out with when I was a teenager, when I was in high school, there's less than a handful of us that are, one, still alive, and two, not in and out of jail or in and out of drug programs.
Right.
So out of maybe 20 to 30 people that we used to all hang out in the neighborhood or whatever, there's less than a handful of us left.
That's crazy.
So it is. And like literally, sometimes I don't want to even get on Facebook because I'm just like, who's it going to be this week?
Yeah.
Hey, Trev, was it anybody personal? Like, if you don't mind me asking, because I know what my story is.
Literally just since since this year started, I can count at least 7, and one of them I literally seen 6 hours before he died, and he died literally. I was walking my dog, and I went up at the top of the corner. The cops had the area carted closed off with a blanket over the kid. Seen him 6 hours beforehand.
Yeah, no, that's horrible, man, and it's the same thing for me. Like it hit me because one of my closest friends. I'm the godfather of his son, and he passed away recently. It's actually a year now. It's going to be the anniversary, and it hit home because I'm like, how I felt like I was obligated. This is one of my closest friends. Like, how did I not see the signs? How did I not help? What more could I have done? And when you're a godparent, you never really think that you're going to have to take up the responsibility and play a major role, in this child's life because you expect their parents to be there as long as you are. So this hit home, and it's just been literally, like you said, every day you turn on social media, somebody else is overdosing, somebody else is having struggles, somebody else is having complications from drugs. So it's like you find out when it's too late. Where's everybody at when the person's around? Before you can actually give them the support beforehand.
When you can actually help them, right?
Exactly.
Because the problem is a lot of times they confide in people who aren't going to go and talk and say something to somebody who would care enough to reach out.
The whole embarrassment of it, which is what Eddie said at the beginning.
I don't think it's embarrassment. I just think they make sure they do it around the right people that where it wouldn't kind of affect them continuing along that path, regardless of how terrible that path is.
I mean,
they don't want to get help.
It's situational, and everybody's got a different story and a different journey, and what leads certain people there might not lead others, and it's just all a timing thing, and you got to be ready, and that's the reality.
It's just great. It's just great that we got other options out there for people now. Like this just gives people another option, and if one program isn't right for you and another program is, and it eventually gets you off drugs and keeps you alive, great. And it's a great thing that you're doing, Eddie, and I really commend you for it. And is there a website or anything we can get out there? I want to make sure we get it going.
Actually, right now, I'm in the process of establishing the website. But the Eddie Truck Gordon Foundation's on Facebook. We have a GoFundMe page. It's GoFundMe.com.
We shared that for you.
We did.
Shared that a few times for
you.
You
guys are awesome, man. And it's like I know that it's going to make a difference, and we're going to help. And for me, that's the most important thing because I never thought in my life I'll be having a foundation. I'll be trying to help people that I don't even know. But like I'm just genuinely blessed, in mixed martial arts, the people I came across and just the people I've met in business. And I just feel like sometimes we kind of lose touch of what's actually important in life. Like the sport is great, and weekends like this, UFC 214. All of the storylines that you kind of don't see and you don't unfold, because I have a personal relationship with Tyron Woodley, and the guy is an amazing dude. So, when you see him taking heat, you see him taking flack before anybody had a clue that this guy had a torn labrum, fighting one of the best grapplers in the world, and he's getting ripped not only by fans but by the promoter. It's crazy, and people don't see and don't understand that we do have to have tough skin in this sport, but how many people would get up out of bed and go to work the next day, let alone fight another animal in a cage with a torn labrum?
Right.
But it's
he's not fighting just anybody. He's fighting number one contenders. These are dudes that are fucking right there.
Guy just strangled somebody. Literally, if there's no referees and no cage, Damian Maia will have 7 murder charges because he would probably choke people to death. Literally, he'll have 7 open cases if it wasn't a referee to say stop. And people don't realize that.
And the nicest face too, right? He'd be smiling the whole time.
He would literally be a serial killer, literally. And
Chuck, I gotta ask you,
this guy couldn't even get him to the ground.
I gotta ask you, Chuck. You say you got you have a personal relationship with Wood, and you see all the stuff that's been going on over the past 48 hours or so. And Wood just went on Hawani's show and basically demanded a public apology from Dana White, or he's gonna start posting private messages between them on social media.
No, that's not.
You gotta love that.
Listen, I know Dana, and I don't see it happening.
Right.
I love T. Wood, but there's no. I just realistically don't think apology is gonna happen. It might be like a half-hearted apology, maybe something like, hey, that sucks. I didn't know the guy tore his labrum. He's a tough dude. And that might be it.
Right.
That might be the closest he's going to get to an apology because that's the thing I like about Dana. He says what's on his mind. You're not going to always agree with what's come out of his mouth. I don't always agree with what's come out of his mouth. But at least you're always going to know where you stand.
And I actually think you're wrong there because he basically said that he fucked up and that he did handle Chris Cyborg completely wrong. Regardless if that's him realizing what he actually has in her now, or that he really, honestly, truly believed that he handled it wrong. Either way,
Dana White's a human being too. He's going to say things in the heat of the moment after a fight, after a big event like that, where he had a lot of put into something and it didn't pan out. Of course, Dana White's an emotional dude too, man. Like he's allowed to change his mind. And like
I think Dana's a smart guy though, man. Because like if you watch the lead up to UFC 214, like he knew it. He even said it. He's like, this fight might not be the most exciting fight. Everybody on the planet knew that Damian Maya is going to try to grab T Wood, bring him down, and everybody knew that Woodley's going to stay away from him. So it wasn't like this was these two guys are going to stand in the middle of the ring and trade, and it's going to be fireworks. Like anybody that knows the sport knew what the game plan was, and how could you knock him if Woodley throws a hard overhand right, gets taken down, then gets his minute. Everybody's like, oh, well, how stupid could he be? Why would he ever do that? So
good point.
He knew what he was going to do. It's like, come on, like, and to find out that the dude's fighting with a freaking torn labrum, that's just even
incredible.
Insane.
Dude,
Truck.
I watched Maya take people down at will, like good wrestlers. He took them down at will his entire career, basically.
Speaking of takedowns and whatnot, how's the experience with the super fight? With the grappling
I'm absolutely addicted now, man. It's funny because this is the first BJJ tournament, anything I ever did in my life, and I was like, you know what? Like I know where my holes are in my game, and I want to work on my BJJ, but it's so easy to say it. I had to actually have a competition, have something set up so I could actually focus on it. And the last, month and a half, I've been rolling with Matt Sarah one-on-one, rolling with Pete Dragosel. Like, they've helped me out, and I've seen my jiu-jitsu game, grow leaps and bounds. So I'm excited now, man. Like, this is something I want to make a part of my regimen. Now I want to do all these super fights. I might even throw on a gi. Who get all crazy? Who knows? Literally, just start rolling because I know for a fact if my ground game, increases, there's going to be a lot of guys in a lot of trouble because not too many guys are going to stand with me. And I had the wrestling base, but when you start doing something new, you fall in love with it, and that's what striking was for me. I never boxed in my life, never did any striking. Right. And then the second I started doing it, I absolutely fell in love. It was like a new addiction. And after doing this super fight, I fell back in love with wrestling, fell back in love with grappling. So now I've got to, mix the two.
And Chris Cope is not a tough out. I mean, I remember him from a while ago. He's a really good ground guy. So
was he on the Ultimate Fighter?
No.
He was on the Ultimate Fighter. I think he was on the season with what season was that? I can't remember.
No, he's a good ground guy. He's a really good ground guy.
I think he was. Who's the dude that fucking? I think he was on Matt Riddle's season.
I think you're right.
Season 7.
Yeah.
I can't believe Matt doesn't make you train in the gi. I thought Matt makes everybody train in the gi.
Yeah, man,
Matt loves the gi.
This was the promise. He said, "I'm going to train with you because we got some secret meetings that we roll in the morning times." And he's like, after this super fight, you're throwing on a gi, and we're gonna keep this going. So I'm a man of my word. He took the time away from his family, from his kids, to get me ready. So I'm throwing on the gi Wednesday morning. The gi's going on.
Oh shit!
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because Josh adopted, Matt's love for the gi, and Josh, used to bitch at me all the time why I wasn't coming in for gi. I can't stand gi. It's too goddamn hot.
You're a wrestler.
I can't stand the fact that somebody can just, if I'm passing the guard, somebody can just grab something on me and now I can't move. You know what I mean? I hate the gi.
Gotta get
I'm going to change your whole outlook on the gi right now. You ready for this? When you're at a bar, somebody has a jacket on in the wintertime, that's the freaking gi. You'll choke anybody out in the bar and anybody in the club. They act up. That's the way you look at it.
That's funny.
You trust me, you hate it now, but if you ever get in a grappling match and you're down on points, and next thing you know, you see a collar choke sitting right there, you're gonna thank God you're in a gi match.
Super excited, yeah. You're really
Exactly.
Dude, I watched a grappling match one time at Noggin. This guy was, he was up. I think he was up by like 6 points, and it was like the last 30 seconds of the match, and made one mistake. The dude got a hold of his collar, and that was the end of it. He was too proud. They had to wake him up.
There. That's what makes
exactly.
it not fair.
What do you mean it's not fair?
You
got to be
man.
sharp at all
the whole
points.
gi is, man, it slows down the game, man. Some old guy now could grab you and hold you down. It takes away from all the athleticism, So if you could pass a guard in a gi where the guy could grab your shorts, grab your shirt, grab everything, grab your pants, you'll be good when you're got just shorts and a shirt.
I think I'm gonna go to Daniel Gracie's line, man. If you can roll and win in a gi, you can absolutely destroy people in a gi, because gi is all about the technique, man. It really is.
Exactly. Yeah.
So have you gotten to go up to Henzo's with Danaher now?
I haven't been up there. I haven't been up there yet. But Henzo invited me, so I'm definitely gonna go check it out. Mondays is like the hot night to go there. So I'll be going. I'm gonna start going Monday nights.
Yeah, Henzo invites all of us up there. I don't have the balls to step in that place. I really don't.
It doesn't matter.
You don't have to.
It
Don't have
dude.
balls in general.
Listen. What's the worst case scenario? You get beat up for a couple of weeks, and then you start figuring out the game, and then you start giving out some beating yourself, man.
You're giving.
Yeah, I don't want to get my ass kicked
in
front of.
bro.
I don't want to get my ass kicked in front of Henzo and Danaher. Like those
yeah,
are the two pinnacles of
you,
jiu-jitsu.
As long as you don't quit, I'm sure if you came over and you had some questions afterwards, they'd be sure to clean up whatever you were kicking your own self in the tail with.
Listen, it's all worth it. If you ever sat through one of Henzo's stories, it's all worth it. Getting choked out 15 times.
I love Henzo.
Henzo has the greatest stories ever. Like literally, like you can't just go and roll. You just can't go rolling. Like after you finish rolling, if you sit down and you start talking, you're there for another hour. Like on season 19, I don't know how and why they didn't have like Henzo was there probably for like 3 weeks of season 19, and they didn't have any footage, any of his stories. Like it was insane. I couldn't believe it.
That's Dana White, man. Dana White's like trying to bury the Gracie name and not have anything to do with the UFC, even though they pretty much created the entire sport.
Listen, it was the craziest thing ever. It didn't make any sense because I'm talking about it was made for TV.
Yeah.
No, I got to meet Henzo once at one of Hollis Gracie's fights up in Morristown. This was about 7 years ago, and this was the second time in my life I've ever been starstruck meeting somebody, because Henzo's my all-time great favorite fighter. But to actually get to sit there and talk to him for about 15, 20 minutes was probably the happiest that I've ever been. He definitely does have some stories. Crazy stories.
The best. Like crazy stories, like insane. And it's never the same one.
Jumping topics here. Who do you got, Conor or Floyd? Can Conor win or what?
Listen, I've been doubting Conor since the first day he stepped into mixed martial arts. Everything he was saying, I thought he was out of his mind. But I think he's finally met his match. There is, if he doesn't knock out Floyd in the first round or two, there's absolutely no chance. And this is what I don't understand. Like, I think it's great for Conor. He's a genius. He's a marketing genius. He's an amazing businessman. He won. It doesn't matter what happens. August 26th, he already won. Like, now, not only did he win in this boxing match, but he's going to go back to the UFC. They're going to have to pay this man $25 million a fight. There's no way he's going to go from making upwards to $100 million to fighting for $14, $15. He's going to be demanding at least $25 million. And if he goes 5, 6, or even lasts the distance with the best number one counterpuncher, arguably the best boxer to walk the face of the earth, that's a win. And, like, some people are like, the marketing is just getting so crazy. Like, I think UFC 214 did not even get enough publicity. Like, to me, it was crazy.
Right,
like, you go on the UFC channel, it was all about Maymack, and it was just crazy. And this card was unreal. And you still go to the press conference, and people are asking about Mayweather and McGregor, which is a month away still. But it's
well,
wild.
that's because freaking Hawani's sitting there talking about, oh my God, Dana's wearing a Mayweather and McGregor T-shirt at the weigh-ins.
Yeah,
it's like, as much as I
do?
love Ariel, like, oh my God, you changed the topic to the wrong things at the wrong times, dude.
It's scary because that's going to draw even more attention. And I did see the shirt. I wasn't going to bring it up. But it's to me, it's just crazy. But you know what? It's working. Look at the line. The line. Holly Holm was a bigger underdog than Conor is versus Mayweather. Like that's insane.
That's absurd. Yeah, it is.
This man has never had a professional
Canelo was a bigger underdog
in his life.
against Floyd than Conor is. Canelo.
That's wild.
It's like everybody talks about Conor McGregor's punching power. Yes, I understand he has punching power. Do you think Manny Pacquiao didn't have punching power? Do you think Canelo didn't have punching power? Sugar Shane Mosley? Like, he's a professional boxer, has hundreds of boxing fights, and I think Pacquiao landed 17% of his punches versus Mayweather.
Well, Pacquiao also had a torn rotator cuff.
I don't
Apparently
listen. He still didn't land.
Well, they sued him over it. They sued. What was it? The WBA or WB? They sued him over not disclosing that he had a torn rotator cuff in that fight. There's some garbage. I don't know. Boxing is so controlled, it's ridiculous.
You got to pay to keep your belt. It's like it's crazy. I never seen anything like it. I'll just buy a replica, a lot cheaper.
So now that you were saying that, you were saying that about 214. You know how the great fights, and it looks like it generated about 1.1 million views. What the hell happened with Chris Weidman main eventing that fight night, and it was the lowest ratings that the UFC has ever had for fight nights? What is going on? With these
wasn't fight
nights?
night. It was Fox. It wasn't fight night. It was Fox.
It was Fox.
It's Fox, but it was the lowest ratings ever. Like, that's lower than Demetrius Johnson, which is shocking to me because every
it was
fight
a
on that
shitty
card was amazing.
It really was.
Every fight was amazing.
No, I can't go with the crappy card. I really can't. If you look, if you actually know MMA and know some of the guys from the bottom of the card up, I mean,
but they're not promoting fighters that aren't champions, and they're not even promoting all their champions. It's just bad promoting.
That's you hit it in the head. I just feel like they're focusing their promotions on one or two guys, and those are the guys that are mainstream. If you look at that card, if you know like the Jimmy Rivera Thomas Almeida fight was dynamite.
That was a great fight. It was a good card to watch.
It was a good card. And if you think about it, like you look at Long Island, I felt like the whole time Long Island was
the Shane Burgos fight was amazing too.
Shane he's highlight reel fighter. Any fight he fights in, like I have to tune in because I've been watching that kid fight and he brings it every single fight. Like I think his last 15 fights, 13
his fight IQ and his ability to not lose his cool when he gets in those exchanges with people. I think that is his meal ticket.
Yeah. And he's just calm, cool, and collected, man. Like I think, being there live, watching the card from start to finish, there were some great fights. But the biggest thing I think was one, you got to look where the fight was. It was in New York. For whatever reason, people hate New Yorkers. I don't know why. They got a little stigma about New Yorkers, and when you look at it, it was Long Island. Long Island has probably 8 million people. Everybody was either at the Coliseum or nobody's watching that fight at home. Everybody's either at a bar or at a friend's house. So I think that lost a lot of viewers, and I don't think that Fox Nielsen ratings, it might not have been included the West Coast. I think it was just the East Coast.
Interesting. Those are things.
Yeah, I mean, I will say one thing, Truck. I'm from Philly, and I don't really dig New York fans, but I have no problem with the athletes in there. I have no problem with the athletes
Hang up on this guy.
or anything like that. Just when it comes to New York fans, oh my God, dude, get out of here. And I'm not saying we're the easiest
because Philly fans are
in the
fucking
world
amazing.
either.
Oh, Jesus. Didn't you guys boo Santa Claus? Didn't you guys throw shit at Santa Claus?
You guys hit Santa Claus with snowballs.
Listen.
Right,
I'm going to stop you right there. Y'all going to bring up something from 1970s. You realize it's the 21st century.
Because you haven't made it right.
Bring it up.
Y'all haven't made it right yet. You're the city of brotherly love, and you're fucking up Santa Claus. All right? Calm down.
No, right? He didn't make his Christmas delivery to my house that year.
Right.
It's not our fault. Listen. All right, let me ask you something. Let's tell me how much holiday cheer you're gonna have if you're having like a 3-13 season at the end of the year, and they card out Santa Claus after you're getting a freaking butt whooping by the Cleveland Browns. I think it was we hadn't scored, and they had at least 3 scores on the board.
You should have threw the snowballs at the Eagles.
Point being,
you should have thrown it at the owner. At the owner.
Daniel was going to bring him the number 1 draft pick till he got snowed.
So, I'm gonna say this. You can say whatever you want about our fans. We are passionate. We call our teams on their bullshit. But at least our mascots don't flip off people.
Mascot. Do you hear yourself? Mascot.
Yeah, I hear myself.
It's the toughest thing on the Eagles is the mascot. So I
got him.
The hell?
Oof.
Gotta say.
It's getting brutal. Yeah, I love it.
That's all right.
This is an MMA podcast.
Because you know what? Because you know what? I can take it. I'm not one of these guys that are gonna go. I still think the funniest thing that Eagle fans, Philly fans, is that we hate Dallas. We just hate their fucking fans. In reality, the real rival is Philadelphia and New York. Everyone just loves to hate on the Cowboys because they self-anointed themselves the freaking America's team. If you ask me,
Truck was right. Everybody likes to hate on New York fans, though. I'm with him on there because I caught a lot of shit when I was living up in Massachusetts. I was a Yankee fan in Boston. It sucked.
That's
almost like committing like suicide right there. That's very brave.
It was tough, bro. It was tough. Oh Lord.
So you know what, Eddie? Now that we talked about UFC Long Island, which was a great show. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. What is going on with Chris and Bisping? What's going on with that?
Yeah. Well, I think all that shit just got buried after. Listen, I think it was a great tactic. He was trying to spark us some interest, trying to get himself into a title fight. Because let's call it what it is. Bisping had probably the easiest title defenses ever. I think Chris probably had tougher fights than Bisping had, defending his belt. With Jacare coming off a loss, Romero coming off of a loss, Whitaker being injured, everybody in the top 5 is not available. So Chris is probably trying to get himself into the title fight, try to stir it up, get the fans talking. But I think Dana put that to bed when he said the GSP fight's on, because now I'm pretty sure they're going to probably try to make that fight for the Garden. Everything was looking good for Chris, because you know what? That would have sold a shit ton of pay-per-views. Chris fighting Bisping, the back and forth, back at the Garden, the redemption story. That would have been huge. But now,
don't you think that kind of sets him up? How it was going on? Because I am wide spoken on this show. I hate shit talk. Which is amazing because I shit talk all the time.
Such a bitch about it, Eddie. He's such a baby about it.
I hate it. Don't you think this was setting Chris up kind of as like the bad guy in this whole thing?
Yeah, but you know what? Think about it for a second. Look at all the guys that are keeping their mouth shut and doing what they're supposed to do. Frank Yeager, screwed. Demetrius Johnson, screwed. Now at this point, it's like everybody's saying, it's entertainment. It doesn't matter what you're doing. People forget the second you do it. It's almost like the people are getting talked. Nothing against Cowboy Cerrone. Love the guy, amazing fighter. What is it like? He talks the talk. He talks, and he gets any fight he wants. Everybody loves him. He's loved more than half the champions in the UFC. You look at who else? The list can go on and on and on. The Diaz brothers, they are probably the most loved ever. None of these guys, like Nate, I think he's like a 500 fighter in the 155-pound division, and they love him. The guy probably has the biggest payday besides Conor McGregor.
Can you say that again? Can you say that again for our one host?
Yeah.
Say that again for our one host. That's a Diaz fanatic. Can you just repeat that stat again?
I love the Diaz brothers.
I'm pretty sure, which he's not sure because it's not true.
They're great fighters.
Yeah,
but he's both 500. All right.
And I love the Diaz brothers. Listen, don't get me wrong, but it's not even like they're shit talking. They're just being themselves. But fans love them. Yeah, and they're just fans love them. Diaz, Nate got paid, I don't know, probably made $12 million that kind of fight. He's probably made more than the whole entire division. More than the whole division. No doubt about it. So it's like, easily. And that's why he's in no rush to fight. He's like, good, IRS got enough of my money. I'm good. So it's like, what do? Do you keep Do you keep taking the toughest fight out there, not saying anything, just keep winning, or just and then just get passed over? Demetrius Johnson, he's a 125-pound man. Not many people are scared of somebody that stature, but he's probably arguably the pound-for-pound best fighter, but he's not getting paid like it. So it's like, what do? You know what he did? He hired Malki Kawa, one of the biggest mouths in MMA. So he's like, if I can't talk, I'm gonna have Malki talk for me. So it's like, you're the catch-22. It's like, what do? Do you just shut up and just roll with the punches? I love Frank Yeager. I think he's one of the greatest of all time. And what more does that man have to do? Like, what does he have to do? He hasn't talked. He just does. He's like a company guy, and he keeps getting passed over. It's like, what do you want? What does he have to do?
He has to race the shark on TV. I think he has to swim against the shark. And then
that might do it.
All he had to do was beat Jose Aldo in that one fight.
He's got a lot of these guys acting all out of body and being something that they're not, and it's and a lot of these people it shows, and I think that's the problem. At least Demetrius Johnson had the fucking wherewithal to hire somebody because he knows it's not him. So I'm not going to start acting like something I'm not, but I realize that I need to change things to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you see, the part for me, which is hard, because you, Chris, you're extended teammates. It hurt me when Chris was going to, Twitter with the whole eye thing with Bisping. And I mean, these two have been going at it for years. But Chris is like kind of making himself out to be the villain in the whole thing. And
I think that was more of the, Bisping came back and Chris didn't know what to say and kind of took a dig. Like, I don't even think he realized, where he was going with the I think he did, and that was a little bit of a fight injury. It sucked, that was.
I agree. I don't think Bisping should be making such a big deal about it because it's a fight injury. If he was born like that, it would be more of a taboo. Like, yo, that's a birth defect. There's nothing you can do. Like, you shouldn't go there. Like, this happened fighting. I don't think it's that big of a deal as they're making it out to be. But probably still was in bad taste just because you don't want to go at anybody's, injuries or like a handicap that someone might have. But I just think it's blown a little bit out of proportion. I really do. Because
the person who plays it off the best. The person who plays it off the best is Matt.
Matt
with Al.
Matt answered it very politically. That was awesome.
Just like with Al. When Al was saying all that stuff about the UFC, Matt's just
Matt's
like, hey, I don't.
Hilarious.
Matt's just like, hey, I don't speak for these guys. I don't know anything. I just coach them. Matt plays it as perfect as he possibly can.
he is the ultimate sensei. He knows how to roll with it. And like everybody comes up to me and asks me the same thing about Al's rants. What do you think? I'm like, listen, I love the guy. I'm not his parent. I'm his father. I'm gonna support him. It's like when you're a real friend, man. You're gonna support him. You're gonna ride with him. You might not agree with everything he says, but you're not gonna let anybody shit on him. And that is just that. Like I could see, where Chris was going with it. I'm his teammate. I'm not his dad. I'm not gonna sit there and scold him. We can't really point fingers because we look at some of the shit that Bisping said and some of the shit that he's done. A guy's fighting in the cage and he's like ripping the guy's flag mid-round.
What was that?
All right, my Puerto Rican brother got spit on. I always will bring that up. With Michael
Bisping. That's true. Jorge Santiago who was that? Jorge, right?
Exactly.
Jorge Rivera.
Exactly. And he spit on his corner. My mom almost killed that man. All right, my mom's a nice Puerto Rican lady, but she's like, hold on, wait a second.
So it's like we can't sit there and point fingers. So it's like it's to the point where it's like, who's to blame? Is it to blame because they want us to hype these fights up so much? You got people acting out of character, and that's not to change subject, but I thought it was interesting. If you watch any of UFC 214's lead up, like John and DC was very cordial to each other. Like they were giving each other praises, and Jones was saying how great of a role model DC is, and he's upset that he didn't even think he's doing steroids because he doesn't have to do that, and it was really weird. They kept it wasn't the same stabs and jabs as the first one. Even they even touched gloves before the fight. Like, think about it for a second.
Yeah.
It's like I think ultimately they realized that
the lack of hatred kind of made me not interested as much as I should have been. To be completely honest with you. And the UFC was trying to force me to hate.
Well,
as Omar and I found out this weekend, everything that you see going on social media is bullshit. It's bullshit. Omar and
Really,
I found
Tommy?
that out this weekend,
Really?
and I feel dirty. I feel so dirty, and I feel so used. It was just like when I found out when Santa Claus wasn't real. What I found out this weekend.
But did you throw snowballs at him?
Awful.
That's what I'm like.
It was
you still,
awful.
You still don't throw. You didn't do that.
We
did you?
found out that. Well, you know what? I don't even give a fuck. I'm going to say it.
Oh.
So, Chuck, remember when I was talking to you about Tyler King? Remember you said you remembered him from,
yeah.
you know, the opening or your Ultimate Fighter season?
Yeah.
We sponsored him. We sponsored him in Ryzen this past weekend. He fought Amir Akbali. Tyler and we were all engulfed in this big ass social media war between, you know, the guys that were at AKA Thailand. It was bad. It was really bad. Come to find out, Tyler and the manager of the fighter were in on this to build the fight up. So the hate it wasn't completely real, except Amir didn't know that it was real. So one person out of the whole fold didn't know that it was real.
Wow.
That's funny.
It was
Tyler's
awful.
a good shit talker, too. He's actually pretty good.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Like
he did that.
It was awful. But when I found out the truth, it completely killed everything with me for MMA. It really makes me question: is the shit talking really real?
Bro,
it all depends on who it's coming from.
Conor Floyd,
if it's coming from the Diaz brothers, it probably is very real. But you know what, man, you could talk all the shit you want, but like after you go into a cage and you fight somebody for 15, 25 minutes, you have a different kind of respect for them. It's almost like if people will sit there and if you had beef with somebody, just go fight. After you fight, you beat somebody up. Like there's nothing more you can actually say. Like you already know who's the bigger man. The beef is dead at that point. Instead of like now you got guys going out shooting and stabbing and people. If it was more fist fights, this world would be a better world.
I agree 100%.
Should be fist fights.
I love when
even Diaz and Conor when they fought, you know, like it seemed like there was real hate going on before the second fight, especially, and afterwards, nothing but love.
Let me tell you something.
They both was
Floyd...
quite happy cashing those bank checks.
Yeah.
Well,
they probably go into the bank
I
together.
know.
Like that's fine. That's totally okay.
When Floyd and Conor are done fighting, they're gonna sit back in like one of Floyd's strips clubs, and they're gonna just be sitting there sipping champagne.
If they haven't already,
at the entire thing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Listen, it's ultimately about this, man. It doesn't matter what it is. You want to create two teams. You want people to have a bidding war on both teams and have a loyalty to both. That's it. You want to either watch the fight because you want to see, Floyd get knocked out, or you love him, or you want to see Conor get knocked out, or you love him. That's the bottom line. When I met Conor in Ireland when he fought Brandao, he was literally the nicest person. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. The camera came on and he flipped it, and I was like, this guy is a genius. Bottom line. That's just the bottom line. He knows what he's doing.
Stop trying to make me like him,
calculated.
Stop trying to make me like him.
You're blindly hating the wrong man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's
Conor
calculated.
is not,
listen, I love the kid, man. You know what? He's bringing eyeballs to the sport. He's bringing attention to the sport, and it's just going to help it grow faster. Bottom line, that's it, man. Look at Ronda Rousey. Everybody can hate Ronda, but no female would have any kind of juice. The Amanda Nunes and the Holly Holmes and all. We wouldn't know about these. There's phenomenal female boxers that still getting crappy paydays because there's no it factor. Ronda might not have been the best female fighter ever, but she was the biggest business that they could the right place, right time, and she's done more for MMA than some of the pound for pound best fighters have. And it sucks to say it, but the facts are the facts are the facts.
Yeah, like Cyborg talking like I am women's MMA, I created women's MMA. No, you didn't. First it was Gina Carano, and you beat her, so then it died. So it actually you kind of killed women's MMA.
Physically and literally.
Yeah, and then Ronda came along and, saved it and rekindled things and just brought it to the UFC and just made it a whole thing that was not attainable. And even Dana White was publicly saying, I'll never have a women's division, this and that. And then all of a sudden, one meeting with Ronda, and there's the women's division. Now, I'm not a big Ronda fan. I never have been, but I respect exactly what you're saying wholeheartedly.
It's all God about they never made that fight between Ronda and Cyborg. That was the best decision that they did. They God bless them, because that would have been really scary.
Yeah.
It would have been. I think Cyborg would have beat Ronda and then probably taken Edmund out at the same time. She would have just been like, "Yo, I'm
probably at the same time."
At the
Bro,
same time,
she'll fuck Travis Brown up at this point.
I'm on board with that one. I got to co-sign that for real.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good Lord.
God damn.
Travis Brown got domesticated, man. He's like, listen,
right. He's a house cat now. What happened to him?
Yo,
what the hell happened to him?
Listen, he's like, listen, I'm about to have some babies. I'm gonna be a stay-at-home dad.
He is.
I remember watching him fight Josh Barnett. I was like, this dude is dangerous. Like, I would be. Holy shit! I thought he was a future champ, 100%. Those elbows that he landed on Josh Barnett's skull were like the scariest thing I've seen in an MMA fight in my life.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's like, I forgot who said it. It might have been like Joe Louis or Joe Frazier. Somebody said it's really hard to get up and run 5 o'clock in the morning when you wake up in silk sheets and silk boxers. And listen, when like it's just literally, I think his whole demeanor changed. Like, he started looking at different things and just. Like, there's no reason for him to lose his last fight the way he did. I don't even know if the choke, the hand was under the chin. Like, it was just crazy. It was almost like, all right, I'll forget. I'm done. I don't want to be here no more. Yeah. It was just weird. I've never seen somebody like that.
He's like, yo, you going to do another Expendables, girl?
Yeah.
I need some money.
Come on, Eddie. Don't be so PC, Eddie. Say it. It's Edmund is the problem. Don't be so PC.
He left him. Let me tell you something.
He's a Ricky Lundell for these last 2 fights.
If anybody ever like watched him in the corner, it was like the worst cornering I've ever seen in my life. Like, how are you telling Ronda you're doing great? Like, as a fighter,
you got to tell your fighter the truth. Like,
exactly.
You're doing great.
When you're in there fighting, honestly, it doesn't matter if you're kicking the person's ass or you lose. You don't even really know what's going on. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, you're literally going by like segment of the fight, like by punch by punch by punch. You don't really know what's going on. So you need your corner to say, okay, stop throwing those kicks. Every time you're doing these countering, you do this, move your head, do that. When you're telling, that's great, she's getting tired, you're doing great, keep it up. You're gonna keep doing the exact same thing you were doing because you're thinking that's working. And it's like. That was just mind-boggling to me. And if you look at his fighters' records, like, he hadn't had who was a successful fighter besides Ronda early?
None. His boxers weren't even successful.
Bro, even
I loved
Ronda's
when he
girls,
was telling
man.
her head movement.
Whatever that was called, they all got beat every fight.
I loved when he was telling her head movement, and you could tell he's never taught her head movement because her head was on a straight line the entire time.
Straight. And you know what the scary part is? With somebody of that Olympic caliber, that great at judo, if she had a good striking coach, that could not to make her a world-beater striker, just so she can strike to get in the clinch, just entries. Yep. Like, I wouldn't teach her anything besides the second somebody says you're a good boxer, you're fired. Like, literally, it'll be jab, cross, clinch. Like, when she clinches, she's a world beater. And the thing that's crazy to me is that
you could master 2 or 3 combinations and be a world-class striker.
That's it. And it's crazy to me because everybody forgets, like, if you watch the last Miesha Tate fight, like, Miesha was winning the stand-up battle. Like, she was tagging Ronda. And for whatever reason, she kept on shooting in. Yes, and it was like, it was like weird. It was like, okay, I'm winning here. Let me go try to prove her wrong. And she'll outstrike her, shoot in, Ronda will throw her, she'll get up, outstrike her, shoot in, Ronda will throw her, and it's like the third time's a charm. But anybody that watched that fight was like, okay, boom, there's the recipe right there. Stay away from her. Footwork, hit her, footwork.
I can't tell you how frustrated I was watching that fight because of the exact same thing you just said. I'm like, why is this bitch shooting on her every time? Ronda's hips just prevail.
It was like insane.
It was maybe in MMA ever.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Could you imagine Ronda at TriStar? Can you imagine her at TriStar?
How about
this? Like, she's too loyal. She's too loyal to that guy, man. Like it's crazy. Like, he stepped in shit. Like, he was the luckiest person in the planet, and she's just so loyal that it doesn't matter. Like, she's gonna ride or die with him, and she literally died with him.
Well, his assets are in her name, Truck. I think he's doing some weird stuff with the IRS as it is.
Because he filed bankruptcy or something like 3 times.
Something there's more than meets the eye. It's a transformer sort of relationship. You're absolutely right. Like there's almost too much loyalty, and I get it. It's commendable on her part in a way, but when her own mom, whose opinion I respect very much. I mean, very educated woman. Also, world champion caliber martial artist, comes out and just flat out says he's a bum, he's a charlatan, he's a trickster.
Yeah.
You got to start rubbing your chin.
She called it out before. She called it out before anything even happened. She called it out while Ronda was winning.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's like she called it out when things were going great. She called it out before all the IRS stuff. Like she called it out before everything happened. And if you look at it, it's like styles make fights. Like everybody else matched up for Ronda, it was like a perfect stylistic fight for her. Good for her. The most dangerous fight was Kat Zingano, and I don't know what. I feel like the media got the Kat saying she starts too slow, and she just sprinted and literally sprinted. It was like, what in the world? Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you just never know, man. But it all worked out for Ronda, so good for her. Ronda, she's not worried. She's going to the bank too. So she's all good.
Well, let's spin off the Ronda stuff and keep it up with your team, because you had another teammate who completely dominated a former champion this weekend, Henan Burrell. What do you think is next for the Funk Master, Aljamain?
I'm going to tell you what it is right now.
Another
Shelby is listening to this. I'm gonna have to text Dana and let him know. This is the fight to make right here. You heard it here first. Jimmy Rivera.
I just said
versus
that.
Aljo.
Just said that.
Yes.
That is the fight that
I said
has
that
happened.
on the podcast last night. Yes.
Did you? Oh shit! See that great minds think alike.
So, Eddie,
Aljo is the champion of the CFFC.
A split second before you, I said Rivera. I actually.
That's the only fight that makes. That's the number one contender fight. The winner of that fight gets a shot at the title, because Jimmy Rivera's on a tear. Aljo is the champion of CFC. They were supposed to fight numerous times. Something always happened. They used to talk shit back and forth. It's the perfect lead up. They're like a week apart, so they're both pretty much on the same timetable. Get that fight for November at MSG, or get it for somewhere before December, and that's the fight to be made. There's nothing else that really makes sense. That's the fight that I think everybody's going to see. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a good fight. Aljo just outstruck one of the arguably a year ago, one of the best fighters in the world. Dana said this guy's the best fighter ever stepped foot in the UFC, Burrell, before he lost. So it's like he's making huge strides, and this is another funny thing that people don't realize, man. When you're learning in the UFC, like Aljo is he's really young, and he's literally cutting his teeth and grinding in the UFC. Every fight, you could see his growth.
That, like with Max Holloway, the same way. Like he learned and grew with the UFC. He was 20 years old. And now look at him.
Yeah, it's
when
like
from
the last 3 fights of Aljo, people are starting to actually see what we see in the gym. Because I'm sure a lot of fighters can say this. Like when you see your teammates like in the gym and they're performing day in, day out, sometimes that same person doesn't show up in the octagon for whatever reason. Who knows, whether it's anxiety, whether it's injuries, whatever it is. So people are starting to see what we see in the gym. And it's the kid is special. Like he is unbelievably special, and he's gaining confidence in his hands, and he has a long reach. Like he has the it factor, man. I'm super excited. I think that Jimmy Rivera fight would definitely be the fight to make. That's it. That's the fight.
I mean, he legit made one mistake in that fight in the first round.
He slipped.
That was it.
That's it.
That was it. He made one mistake in that first round, and we've said this on the show before. We had him on. In each and every fight that he's in, he's grown in each fight. Even the fights that he's lost, whatever he made a mistake in the first fight, he fixed that mistake and then went to the next fight. And then he's just grown and gotten better and better and better in each fight. I'm really excited for him.
No, it's awesome. He's a good dude, a hard worker, like good dude, man. Like
and he almost beat Floyd's ass.
Yeah, that'd have been fun. If he'd have grabbed Floyd would have been choked so bad. It would have been a bad night. But it's just wild, man. Like and I still think the only fight he lost was the Coward fight. Like I think that he got screwed on the Sun Tzu. The judges really love Sun Tzu.
Yeah,
I think he honestly lost his last 2 fights. Like
he's slipping them envelopes, Eddie. That's what I'm thinking.
Crazy. That Marlon fight, Marlon Moraes. How in the world did he not get that loss? I was mind boggled.
He's got photos of the judges or something. He's got some blackmail or money's being exchanged. Because that guy gets some gifts.
It's crazy. I don't even know. It's wild. He's a nice dude, so listen.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, you almost you don't want to get you don't want to rag on him too much. For some of the decisions he's been getting, just been wild. Where you're like, wow.
You can't hate on the fighter for getting a decision. All he's doing is going in there and putting it on the line.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I said. That's why I can't badmouth him. It's not his fault. Like shit.
Yeah,
everybody's fighting for the same fucking prize, man. That's people don't realize, and it's like a thing with fighters. I would assume it's like you really can't hate on. I think Eddie Alvarez was saying it. He's like, we're all on the same journey, essentially, different but the same. Like, you think you could beat me up, I think I could beat you up. So we go in there and we see who beats who up, and exactly. It's not every time. It doesn't always come down to like who actually wins. It's who do you think won.
Yep.
A lot of times.
That's it. And you got to realize, man, we're like the guinea pigs, man. This sport is so new that we're literally the guinea pigs. It's like the NFL 100 years ago. Most guys had 2-3 jobs, making $5,000, and now look where it's at. Like we're at that stage. We're the lab rats. In 10, 15 years, these kids are gonna be walking around. The worst fighter in the world is gonna be making $500,000 a year. It's gonna be something crazy. And like we were the guinea pigs. We were the lab rats, and we just got to accept it and actually pull together and stop dividing us. Because everybody talks about a union. We don't need a union to protect us from the promoters. We need a union to protect us from the other fighters. That's what the union needs to be there. Because, like, me being a business and a finance guy, when I hear what some guys used to take for sponsorships was disgusting. Like, you can't take $100 sponsor for like a fight that's going to be on national TV because now you're just screwing it for every other fighter that's going there asking for thousands. They're going to be like, why did I give you $1,000? I gave a guy $100. But why? There's businesses that pay $2,000 to go in a daily news print ad that they don't even know who's going to look at it. When you're on national TV, you got 500,000 viewers, the demographic that you're looking for, you have a tangible good saying, listen, how much is 500,000 people that's in your demographic worth looking at your logo? Now you got something tangible to demand. When you're taking $100, those people won't even, that's not even, no marketing company is taking that. So we got to protect.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We got to protect, ourselves from other fighters, like the younger guys that are starving for money, that'll just do anything. Because why would I, as a business, why would I ever pay somebody $5,000-$10,000 if I could pay somebody $100 and they're gonna be on the same card?
Pivoting off of that, Truck, do you think what this sounds like to me, just sitting back and listening, would you see yourself down the road being a manager, or being like a official mentor?
I definitely think I'll do something like that. Once my time with fighting is over. Like I actually, got offered to work with MMA firm, and my thing was like, listen, man, like I only had 6 years in this sport. I got another four or five good years. I'm not fighting into my 40s like some of these guys. That's something I would do afterwards, and help these guys brand themselves and actually make a future out of this, because we have a huge platform, and too many guys don't know their worth. Like if you actually understand your worth, that's a powerful thing, and that's where I go. Not to go back to him, but Conor McGregor understood his worth. He single-handedly made the UFC $800 million in a 4 or 5 month period between his pay-per-view buys, and he was like, you know what? Everybody's acting crazy. I'm getting $10 million a fight. You look at percentage-wise, that's peanuts compared to what he's bringing in. So he knew his worth. If everybody had that mentality, it'll be a better place, man. And if I can help fighters realize that, then I'll be more than happy to.
Yeah. That's why I respect Diaz, too, because like you said before, these guys fight once every year and a half, and they're getting called out by the champion of every division because they're making the most money for other people that's not named the Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
I was like, why am I going to go in there and fight 5 killers in the top 10 in a 2-year span when I could fight one in the top 10 or the top 5?
Yep. It's like the Hunger Games. Let them slaughter each other out. Like who I feel bad for? Like I'm obviously biased. Like Chris is my brother, but you know who this whole debacle sucks for? Yoel Romero, Jacare. Look what these guys have done for the last 4 or 5 years. They fought the toughest guys in the world. They were on an 8-fight win streak, 9-fight win streak. They were on to Bobby Knuckles. Bobby Knuckles took them both out. So now they will never probably get a title shot again unless something crazy happens. And they're both old. Yoel is 40-something years old?
I think
He's not
that Weidman
younger.
should go after Romero. That's what I think the fight should be. Right at the Garden, same spot, exercise that demon. Because he was doing well up until the knee.
You know what it is? Like it's and it's like if you realize when you're fighting the best guys in the world, one little mistake like that could. And if you look back at the fight, if you look back at Romero's career, he has these late finishes, but there's always something controversial with.
He's a cheater.
I don't want to say it, but
I'm not
it's always
talking about steroids. No, I'm not talking about steroids. I'm talking
water,
the
extra
stool
minutes in the cage.
Yeah, that's cheating.
They're dumping water on his back he dumps water on his head
cheating.
every single. He gets a 1.5-minute break every time, and everybody knows it's his gas tank. By the second round, he's usually done. But you look at it, Derek Brunson almost beat Romero. Then he got caught at the third round. Tim Kennedy technically probably should have won that fight. Weidman was dominating the fight. So it's it is what it is. You know, I hate making excuses. He did throw the knee, but Chris made a little mistake that he realized he shot at the back leg. He never does that. He never shoots at the guy's back leg. He caught him with a knee, and it is what it is. But that's why people love this sport, because anything can happen at any time. Whoever thought that Michael Bisping would knock out Luke Rockhold? I didn't see it coming. I thought Michael Bisping had no punching power.
Luke Rockhold is, and I don't care. He's a cocky asshole. Cocky asshole. Chris made one mistake.
I respect his game, but I don't respect his approach.
Weidman made one mistake with it. Who taught him a spinning heel kick, Eddie? That's what I want to know.
Listen, sometimes I think you get caught in a moment because I hate watching that fight because I almost killed somebody that night because somebody was talking shit and I lost it. I get more emotional when I'm friggin'. That's why I wasn't even gonna go to Coliseum because I stay in my house now when my teammates are fighting. I watch by myself because I don't want to hear these. I can't deal with ignorant idiots. It drives me crazy, especially when it's somebody you're emotionally attached to. But he got caught up in the moment through a crazy spin. When I watched that fight, I don't care what Rocco says. He was ready to pack it in. Chris was hitting him with body shots, and he was withering, and for whatever reason, threw that kick, and then that changed the fight. But it's you know what? Everything happens for a reason. Everybody's going to act like they forgot about Chris, and when he makes his comeback, everybody's going to be like, how did that happen? It's going to be awesome. I know it's happening. I can't wait.
Eddie, I watched that fight on Periscope on a Brazilian feed. I got so mad I threw the phone in the laundry room where I was doing my laundry because I couldn't fucking stand it.
I think we're in the same boat.
Did you watch the fight after that? How did they feel about that fight?
Which one with the Aldo, right?
Yeah. On Brazilian Periscope. I wish I was there for that.
I was in awe. That was just holy shit. At that point I thought Conor. Listen, I thought Conor sold his soul to the devil at that point, but if he knocks out Floyd, I know it's a guaranteed fact at that point.
Ralph Macchio, he was at the crossroads, right? And he's like, listen, make me the greatest fighter in the world, and you can have this.
I'm telling you, but if you listen to him, though, he sounds so confident. It's almost like it happened already.
That's what I said about Conor. It's the thing about it is Conor believes every word he's saying. He's selling the fight, but he also really, truly believes the things that he's saying. So I love that about him. And like I said before about the pressure, he's putting pressure on himself by talking this way. And when you could add this kind of pressure and deliver, there's something special about that. And that's why if he wins this fight, he'll be the biggest star in the history of the world.
In the planet. Dude, he was a top 3 most paid athlete in the world last year. He made 44. He made more than the highest paid NFL player was $24 million last year, and he made 42. Conor. So it's listen, he's doing all the right things. I don't care you want to hate on him. He's bringing MMA to the mainstream. He's demanding eyes. He's bringing all those advertisers and Beats by Dre sponsors. He's doing it the right way. He's bringing it there. And you know what? If he believes in it, your mind doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie. If he really believes in it, go for it, man. That's going to be interesting to say. Now, if somebody asks me who I think is going to win, I'll be like, you're an idiot for even asking me that in a boxing match. But, hey, if he believes it, go for it. Shit.
But now, for MMA's sake, don't you think Conor has to knock out Floyd to really put MMA on the map? Because, I mean...
No, if he beats him in a decision, that would be even better for MMA.
That's 100%, yeah, but they're going to say... I think that
Floyd takes everybody to... If Floyd takes everybody to the 12th round, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
Conor
it's almost like saying Conor's an amateur. He has 0 boxing fights. He has 0 professional boxing fights. So if he takes the number 1 pound-for-pound boxer to a decision, that's huge. He's wearing 10-ounce gloves. He fights in 4-ounce gloves. So that's an immediate saying, hey, you doubled the padding on my glove. Of course you're not going to take a hit as hard. But for people who are making an argument, do you really think that Conor McGregor punches harder than Canelo? Do you think he punches harder than Sugar Shane Mosley? I don't think he punches harder than those guys. The biggest thing I think that Conor has going for him is that as mixed martial artists, we actually fight we're a lot bigger fighter. We might be the same weight class, but we cut a lot more weight than boxers. Yeah. Boxers really don't cut weight. So Floyd is going to be the smaller man in that fight. So McGregor, I give him that, but that's all feeding into to Mayweather's style. He's the number 1 best counterpuncher ever.
Let me ask you something about this whole aspect of it where, people are like, Conor's not, Floyd's a boxer, they're boxing. But don't you think Conor brings different angles and different things to boxing that maybe he hasn't seen because he's only fought traditional boxers? Like, there could be a different
there's no doubt about it, of course. But I 100% agree with that. But I feel like how long is that going to take? Floyd always feels the guys out the first couple rounds. And the first couple rounds is where Conor's probably going to be the most aggressive because he knows that he's going to need to get an early knockout. So Floyd's not going to put himself in any danger. Like, if he's not really engaging, how much danger? If these boxers that have hundreds of fights can't hit him, what makes me think that Conor's going to hit him? And Floyd's not a really aggressive fighter. He's a counterpuncher.
I don't think Floyd has fought the best in the world for the last decade, personally. But I get what you're saying. He is the best in the world. So, but he's not fighting Lomachenko. He's not fighting Danny Garcia. Like, these are the boxers that I want to see Floyd prove himself against, not Andre Berto.
I agree with you. And you know what you just touched on, which I think is listen, kudos to Mayweather. I feel like if anybody should be upset, it should be those fighters you just named, the Spencers, the Lomachenkos. These guys that have been boxing 200, 300 amateur fights, and they are never going to get the payday that McGregor's about to have. How many boxers put their blood, sweat, and tears in? How many MMA fighters that are not getting these opportunities, but that put the time in? Like, that's what's crazy to me. Like, the sport of boxing, I feel like has a lot more to lose than mixed martial arts. Like, this is all bonus for us. Like, we're going to get a whole bunch of people now that's going to cross over just because of this fight if Conor puts up a good fight. If he gets his ass beat, we're going to be laughing stock. Like, told you so. You're going to have all those keyboard warriors come out. But if he puts up a decent fight, if he makes it a dog fight for 2-3 rounds, let's make it a dog fight, we're going to get crossover fans. But those boxers who are grinding, the Spencers, all those guys, like Danny Garcia, like you said, they're not getting $100 million paydays like Conor's going to make out of this fight. Like, Floyd's going to probably hit a damn near $1 billion. He's a damn promoter for the thing. He's getting paid off every hot dog and beer sold in the arena. It's like they're never going to see that payday. Like, it's like if he would have picked one of those guys, they would have made that kind of money. They'd have been happy with $50 million. It would be a serious
legitimate threat to that zero on his record.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, this is gonna be like the ultimate combat spectacle, though, man. Like, it's gonna go down in history. It's gonna be, who knows? They might have a freaking concert that week in Vegas. Like, this is gonna generate billions of dollars. It's gonna be the first $1 billion fight, no doubt about it.
I said this in a group the other day, and people were like, "You're fucking crazy. Do you know how much $1 billion is?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know exactly."
It's 1,000. It's 1,000.
I know that. I know Floyd's going to take away about 1/10 of $1 billion at least. So if he's coming away with that, there's a lot of money going to other people too. I would say.
This is going to generate literally billions of dollars. Like, there's no doubt about it. You think about, this is what nobody ever talks about. My friend owned the bar. He had to pay for a regular UFC event. I think it was like $1,500 for the event.
Yeah, we talked about this before. It's capacity. It's paid by capacity.
How much you could, exactly. So my thing is this: how many bars in New York City alone is going to show that fight? So let's just say it's $2,000-$3,000. If 1 million bars show that fight, or let's just say 10,000 or 20,000 bars, Forget about the 5 million pay-per-view buys that they're going to get from regular, residential buys. Imagine what those commercial buys are going to, like literally 1 or 2 businesses equals like thousands of residential buys. They're going to make a killing, and it's $100. Like, just think about the math. Not even including the $25,000 seats that's going to sell out. Probably it's already sold out already for all of the seats. It's like then it's going to generate ridiculous money, ridiculous.
And then imagine in town too, even right in town, like say right around, like if you do any economic analysis of what like Super Bowls do for the city. I had a friend, he was in business school, and he was a big sports guy. He did exactly what you're saying, Truck. He goes, listen, the billions of dollars that each city gets with a Super Bowl, and think of it,
or
like
Olympics,
how much media. The Olympics, exactly. Like that's why they shell out this money. This is going to generate. You guys are. I think it's conservative at just the single billion. You guys are absolutely spot on.
Yeah, it's gonna be earth-shattering, and that's why it's happening. They don't like they don't really care like what happens. Like you think about the Pacquiao. Yeah. They like Pacquiao. I think made what $300 million from the Floyd fight, or $200 million. He never seen that kind of money. This is gonna do double that. It's gonna break. It's trending to do over 5 million pay-per-view buys. That's insane.
Yeah, that's absurd.
And that's $100 a buy, right there.
Exactly. And then not to mention now they got the movie theaters that's hosting select movie theaters, and there's people are gonna be going to bars. Any single bar is showing it is gonna be packed out that night. It's going to be nuts, like nuts.
Bro, TGI Fridays all across New Jersey is ordering the fight. That's all you need to know. TGI Fridays.
Wow. So think about how many of those Fridays. How many based on the capacity? Imagine that place seats 500 people or 400 people. They're gonna be paying thousands of dollars for that pay-per-view.
And they'll still be making money.
It's not even like a bar. It's not even like a night place. It's like it's just everywhere is showing this fight. Everywhere.
Bodegas are going to be ordering. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
And they'll pay for it. Right? Like shit.
It's like,
oh man.
You know what's going to happen? They're going to write it off anyway. It doesn't matter if they spend $5,000 to buy it. They're going to write it off, and they're going to lower their tax bracket. Instead of giving it money to Uncle Sam, they're going to put it in their pocket.
And the cash you're going to still get off of the alcohol sales. Because a lot of that is still a cash business. They're going to be clearing. It's an economic gold mine for everybody involved. That's why I think what you said it best. It had to happen. This is way too big of an event. Yeah.
And just like
calculated, man. Those are two most calculated people on the planet. Those are two most calculated people. Like they were just throwing stones, and they saw the ripples, and they said, "Let's take it and run with it." Because everybody forgets Roy Jones and Anderson Silva tried to do this years ago.
This whole thing started a while back when somebody asked Conor if he'd fight Floyd. He's like, I'll dance around the ring with Floyd for 12 rounds for $100 million. Of course. Like, that's how this whole beef started. Literally one line.
Well, Eddie, you just brought it up, the fact that Anderson Silva and Roy Jones Jr. wanted to do it, and for some reason at that time, Dana wouldn't let it happen.
Roy Jones is
I don't know why. It doesn't matter. It still would have generated money. You know what I mean? It still would have generated money. But I hate that we have to do this right now, but we have to cut the show off now. We're at our limit. Eddie, we love you. We are so happy that you came back on. We're going to have to do this again very soon. Now that the UFC, will actually let us have you on.
I know, it's freaking wild. It's wild.
So if you could please plug your social media, please plug your sober house. The floor is yours right now, brother.
No, you guys are the best, man. I'm always excited to come on, and we gotta make this a thing, man. But definitely, guys, hit me up on social media, Truck MMA _ UFC on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Definitely go on Facebook and put the Eddie Truck Gordon Foundation. We're fighting drug addiction. We're trying to raise awareness. We want to show kids that it doesn't matter what your past failures in life, led you to. You do have a future as long as you stay consistent, stay the course, and just do something positive in life. And, our goal is to literally open up 3 sober houses in the beginning, and we're going to grow it all across, the country, across the nation, because drug addiction, period, is a problem. Nobody wants to talk about it. We're talking about it. Thank you guys so much for giving me the platform and the support. Eddie Truck Gordon Foundation. We also doing a fundraiser at www.gofundme.com/ED GoFundMe.com/fight drug addiction. So you guys are the best. I had a great time, man. Time just flew by. So thanks for having me, as always.
Thanks for coming
Eddie,
out, buddy.
you and I are going to talk, Eddie, because if you need anybody
Definitely.
to come in, do any kind of public speaking,
when Eddie
I'm
becomes the
100%
manager
in
after
there
this,
for
and
you.
we're 6 years deep, we could get all his fighters that he's got under his that he's on their payroll on our show.
That's what we got to do.
That's
I
it,
love
man. Nah, man, we got to definitely link up, man. Shoot me a text, man. We got to get together.
Yeah, Eddie, we're going to talk, brother.
Thank you, Eddie. Take care.
No, thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You as well.
All right, Omar.
I think we lost Omar too.
No, I think we lost Tommy. Oh no.
Oh.
We lost Chuck. We
You're
lost.
about to lose me, guys. So.
No, they were serious about talking right after the show. Apparently, good Lord. But great show, man. It's that what he has going on. I love hearing fighters that are in the cut, but then also have an eye on like an exit strategy, and then even building off of what they're doing. And that foundation is amazing.
The give back, the reality of like what's going on in the epidemic, and like the give back was what resonated most for me in that whole interview.
And that's I think that's gonna carry him.
And it's
genuine,
carry him
forward.
And anybody that hears that dude talk has got to be a fan. That's as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you're a heartless bastard if you listen to him and you're still like, I'm good on that. You got to be a piece of shit. And that's the barometer, I think. If you don't like Eddie after that, we don't want to.
I'm surprised, Tommy actually went in on Weidman a little bit. I was ready to fucking do that for him, and then he did it for me. I was like, good job.
You know what? Let me tell you. After this weekend and a couple of the events and everything going on, the world's a strange place, Chris. Nothing surprises me anymore. But
Eddie convinced Tommy to be a Conor fan. We heard it. We got it on air.
It's a wild time, Chris. It's crazy. So with that being said, I just want to remind the listeners that next week we're going to have Brad Desir back on, Bellator, owner of the first knockout at MSG in Bellator history. He was a previous guest. He's going to be on next week. He's thinking of breaking into the podcast game, I think. So it'll be great to have him on and kind of see what his plans are, and also see if we can get a scoop on what his next fight is. Should be an interesting one. So as always, brought to you by 80K Fightwear, Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu, as well as Madama Jiu-Jitsu, and for everybody here at the Pride Rules Podcast, brought to you by 2 Minute Warning. Have a good night.